Welcome to Dropped In, Michael. I am super stoked to have you here and to share your magic and medicine with our Dropped In community. So, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Megan.
Yeah, I'm excited for today's conversation because I feel like we have a lot of commonalities, very similar paths in terms of the work that we facilitate. So I would love to learn kind of like the backstory as to why you do the work that you do before we share what exactly it is that you do.
Well, for me, I do the work that I do is I was suffering from depression.
Mm.
I was in a really bad place mentally years ago, which I consider my past life. And, I always tell people that depression saved me.
Mm.
I know this is kind of like an oxymoron, but it really did save me. And it really did give me a jump start to my life of 10xing my life, of reprogramming, of meditating, and getting to a place where I can now share the tools and techniques and the wisdom that I've learned to give that to other people so they won't have to go through the same failures, hardships that I went through. And it can just completely accelerate, the path to the next level of their success.
Mm, mm. That resonates deeply. I know from my own personal journey, I was riddled with anxiety and depression. So it definitely is a catalyst to get you to where you are today because you are obviously the embodiment of the work that you facilitate. It's quite evident. So love that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what is it that you do? What are you most passionate about? I know, there's some conversation around getting people unstuck, and I absolutely love that work. So, let's hear about it. What exactly do you do?
Yeah, so I'm an executive energy coach and founder of Energy Mastery School. And I've had the privilege of working with hundreds of CEOs, entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners, celebrities, to help them make the necessary changes that you just discussed right now, the mindset shifts that keep them from a certain level of being stuck mentally and a certain level of their success, and transition them into 10x accelerated growth and breakthroughs. And I think what I found in that is most entrepreneurs and most people are progressing at a very conventional way of success, which is, I would say steady progress. You see wins, you're like, oh yeah, I got this and I achieved this, and I'm doing better than last year. But there's a difference between watching people like Elon, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, like all these avatars, and being them. And I think that transition comes from the mindset shift of, hey, I don't need to make steady progress. I can actually make breakthrough goals, and I can make breakthrough transformation, and I can make, really big leaps in life. And that whole shift is where I get a lot of entrepreneurs to really accelerate to the next level of their success. So it's really applicable to a lot of different people. And, I think there's another question that you asked me, just kind of like about my journey. And, my journey began in 2016 when I hit a breaking point, as a marketing executive dealing with, as you mentioned, anxiety and depression, that was so intense that it put me in a hospital where I could
Mm.
barely breathe, and I was asking a doctor what was wrong with me. I had stress hives all over my body. I was suffering from TMJ, which was lockjaw, where I had to buy a mouth guard so I wouldn't gnaw my teeth down in the middle of the night, and severe panic attacks. And that led me to create Energy Mastery School. And today we help our students to reprogram those stubborn subconscious roadblocks that so many of us struggle with, in order to accelerate, their path to success and wealth.
Hmm. So cool. So cool. So how I absolutely love the concept of an executive energy coach because, there's so many titles out there and I'm definitely in the spiritual world and, I call myself like a spiritual catalyst and intuitive business mentor. So I absolutely love that title. So how did you find it? Like, how did you get into this work of energy? Have you always been kind of in the energetic world or like, let's hear more about this because I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm a bit of a unicorn because my background that I started off with is computer science engineering, and then I went a few years later and got my MBA. And then I had this whole breakthrough, this whole transformation. So I was, shaman, going to Burning Man, wearing no clothes with robes. And then eventually I got back to myself, and now I'm back into the real world. So I had a mix of a lot of different things. And I tell, my followers that, I'm at an intersection between spirituality, business, and science, because those were the three different phases of my life. I was computer science, which I lived a lot in mathematics and science. Business was what I thought I was going to get into. And then spirituality came later, when I was really balancing myself and understanding what my purpose was here in life. Now, the question was like, how do you integrate all those different things? And, I came from the executive world, working with executives or business professionals or fast growth entrepreneurs. I had the spirituality and, the esotericism, and, I understand that. So I can speak to people on that level, but I also am grounded in science. The woo-woo is great, but I need to understand the how. I need to understand why meditation is working. I need to understand why I need to go to that yoga class. I need to understand what the food is doing, what positive hormones are, dispersing through my body, and how that, impacts me and my life and, everything else. So I put all that together to be an executive energy coach. And a lot of people are like, well, so you do energy work? And I was like, no, it's not the energy work that I do. It's the energy is the cause of everything in your life. And the reality that you see as a result is the effect. So if you can change the energy, if you can master the energy, you can master your life. And that applies in business, that applies in your personal life, that applies with anything that you might want to lay hands on. And so I just combine it all together, executive energy coach.
So cool. So cool. I love it. So how specifically, for those that like are hearing the word energy, and it's definitely not in the woo, it's more like in the science base, but like how specifically do you support people with their energy, both in personal and business? Because everything's connected. So
Well, everything is connected to energy. Everything starts off at the energetic level. And the way that I interact with energy is by reprogramming your subconscious energy, which is basically your subconscious mindset. And, a lot of people are like, oh, well, why don't you just change the happen, change this and, fill into it. And I say, hey, you know what? Different things work for different people. What I've learned is that success, manifestation, all of these words, there's a science to it. And the science is 80% mindset and 20% actions. And so if that's the case, and then I focus on the root cause, which is your belief systems, your mindset, and I let everything else just fall into place after that. So all of the frameworks that I've created, all of the techniques that I've communicated, as from the work that I do in Energy Mastery School, has everything to do with shifting at a foundational level, which is your beliefs, which is your subconscious energy, which is the foundation of everything that you're creating in life, because your beliefs create your thoughts generate your feelings, and your feelings dictate what actions, you're committing to in life, your actions and behaviors. So that's kind of like the motto and the framework that I follow.
So cool. So cool. So what specifically are you trained in?
As far as
In terms of like the subconscious work, the energetics, like the executive work that you're doing, like how are you facilitating this change work?
so I've studied NLP, I've studied cognitive based therapy, emotion code therapy. I got certified in that. And then just really my personal life. My personal life serves as a living and breathing, I would say, success board that has many failures that have turned into information, that I've translated into information that I can use for a lot of the clients and the people that I work for. So my life is really the training board. And then I have, the personal certifications, but I don't even talk about those because they don't matter. I could be as academic as I want, but if I can't relate to people and they can't regurgitate it in a way that really helps them in their specific lives, then none of it matters. All of it is just, certificates and education. What people are really looking for is wisdom. And the wisdom is do I need more information? There's a lot of information. I could go to YouTube, I can listen to this podcast, I can, read whatever book, or do I just need to know what to do? Like, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? I'm tired of giving people information. I stopped giving people information a long time ago, and I started supplying them with direction. Just do this and just keep doing it, and then follow your way from there. And they're like, okay, I'll just do that. And it just makes life so much easier. So I'm all about direction rather than information.
I am so with you. Yeah, the age of Aquarius is real, right? Like the age of information. I call it the age of information overload, and we can get inundated with all of this stuff externally. So it can really create this state of paralysis. Would you agree?
Analysis paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck, waiting for the right moment and opportunity. All of those things are the limiting beliefs that we break people out of, that what I say would be initially their conventional way of thinking. It was like, oh, well, let me think about it. Let me use the information I have to make an informed decision. But I read this book years ago called Think and Grow Rich. And when I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the things that he mentioned was that wealthy people, or people with a wealthy mindset, make decisions very quickly and seldom change them. And people with a poor mindset take a while to make decisions and then change them quickly. And I thought about that, and I was like, oh God, I must be poor. Because with my computer science degree, I'm like, well, let me think about this option and let me go this way. And then my business degree. So I had all this information. I was like, well, I just want to make the most informed decision. But that kept me waiting. And it kept me with analysis paralysis. And I think that's one of the number one mindsets of keeping people broke and poor, is waiting.
Yeah, not taking inspired action for sure. So as like outside of the information overload, as an executive energy coach, like what would you say, is there like a commonality of people that are like things that are keeping them stuck, would you say?
A commonality of people, can you reword it in a different way?
For sure. I know you're passionate about like helping people get unstuck. So
Yeah.
is there, with your array of clientele, do you find that there's like a commonality that people share that might be keeping them stuck? Like, is it a certain belief system, or is it like different fears, or what is it that might be a predominant thing that's keeping people feeling stuck in their lives?
Yeah, that's a great question, Megan. And I would say my first answer for that is the main thing that keeps people stuck is their belief that they're not good enough. And I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, comes up in a lot of different ways. It might be the more obvious thing that I'm not good enough, so I can't pass this test. But it might be, I'm not good enough, so I need to learn more information. I'm not good enough, so I need to make more money. I'm not good enough, so I need to ask a few more people before I actually make the decision. I'm not good enough, so I need to wait a little bit longer so that I can be validated by other people. And then once they deem me as successful, then that's when I can start telling the world that I'm successful. So I'm not good enough. That limiting belief, that childhood wound, really comes up very strong when playing out. And the way that it plays out is analysis paralysis, lethargy, taking long times to make decisions, not trusting in your decisions, and overthinking.
For sure. Yeah. So if someone isn't feeling good enough, like how can you support them to take inspired action? Because I know like if they're in the space of feeling like stuck or in that state of analysis paralysis, like how can we move the needle forward for them to actually take that inspired action?
Well, there's a framework that I use called the C3 method. And I created it where it takes you from point A to point B. And point A to point C. But point A is clarity. The second phase is confidence, and the third phase is consistency. So I feel, and the science proves, that our minds will expand to the vision that we set for ourselves. And when you haven't set a vision for yourself and you're not very clear, that is what keeps you in overthinking and analysis paralysis and not taking the inspired actions. So as soon as you have that clarity, then you're like, cool, the store is that way. I know I need to move in that direction. Now you're thinking, how do I get there? Am I going to take a car? Am I going to walk? Do I need to take a plane? Do I need to drive? All those different things. Do I take a horse? However you want to get there. But how do I get there is the second part. You taking the first step, once you have that clarity, gives you the confidence, because all confidence is an amalgamation of completing steps. Mm-hmm. When you did your first podcast, maybe before you started your first podcast, you might have had butterflies and you might have felt like, can I really do this? Can I really compete? Can I, how do I need to look? Should I use a video? Should I just speak? Who do I need to say? What if I get stomped? Do I need to edit? All these things. Now it's just because you've done it so many times, now you feel confident. So it's clarity, confidence. And then the last part is consistency. Mm-hmm. And consistency is consistently manifesting your dreams, seeing consistent wins. And that's what the C3 method is. So the way that I approach people and the way that I help them get from point A to point C when they're in that stuck analysis paralysis, overthinking, is you need a goal that's bigger than you. You need clarity on that. And that clarity is going to not only scare you, but it's also going to push you in a direction of saying, okay, that's the step that I need to take in order to get to the end of the yellow brick road, so to speak. Mm-hmm. That framework has worked for me in my life. And that framework is something that the C3 method is something that I share with all of my students that really helps them as like a GPS, a map, to understand where they are and where they need to be.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I know you've mentioned it a few times, so let's hear all about your Energy Mastery School, your Energy Mastery program. What's it all about? How can people learn more about it?
So the Energy Mastery School program is essentially a global platform for high growth professionals and entrepreneurs who are looking to accelerate their path to the next level of their success. And I put an emphasis on accelerate because you can continue doing what you're doing and see success. You can play not to lose. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the conventional way. You will see success. You will get to the next level if you just continue to stay at it. What my program does, it's an accelerator. It's a 10x accelerator. So it's looking, if Megan, you and I were talking, you said, okay, I would ask you, well, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? And you would either, rightfully answer with details, or you might say, I don't know. I haven't even thought that far. I might have only thought 3 years ahead. And I'll say, okay, well, let's go through the motions and try to figure that out. So we get your 10-year vision. And then I would say to you, well, would it be of value to you if we could accelerate that for you to experience your 10-year vision this year? And you might say, well, sure, but where's the magic wand? There's so much stuff that needs to happen. I'll say, hey, stick with me, Megan. This is part of the Energy Mastery School training because I'm going to teach you how to do that. So I'm going to teach you how to accelerate your growth from 10 years to 1 year in a 21 days program. And you're like, what? Wait, time out. So it went from 10 to 1 to a 21. It's like, yeah, that's what this is about. It's about accelerating your growth. It's about achieving more by doing less work. And now you're really confused because you're like, I just thought about all the work that I need to do in order to get that point. Now you're saying I need to do less work. I was like, welcome to Energy Mastery School. This is your first day. So, Energy Mastery School is about that. It's a whole mindset shift. And there's 3 different components or 3 different features of Energy Mastery School. Picture this. Picture you're 18 years old, 17 years old. Whenever you applied to college, or if you went to college, and let's say your top college was Harvard or Oxford or just one of those, really elite schools. And you're saying, okay, I want to go to Harvard. And you got your brochure. That brochure says Energy Mastery School. And you're like, okay, cool. So within the brochure, you have your course. You have your courses that could be biology, math. Within Energy Mastery School, the course is 21 days to energy mastery. That's going to give you the training. That's going to give you the reprogramming that you need in order to completely accelerate your path. And you say, okay, great. The classes are great. What about the extracurriculars? What about the sports team? What about, I want to join drill team and I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like, great, we have that too. We have a community, and the community is awesome. The community is a high net worth community, and this community does things, it's for us, by us. So we promote each other, we hire each other, we invest in each other, we support one another, we do all the things. All the people that work for me or that I've recommended out have gone through Energy Mastery School, and vice versa for them, because we understand the language. So that's the second feature of the benefit of being a part of that platform. The third one, and the third and final, is the monthly coaching. Now, I do coaching on my own, private and group, and I'll just say it's pretty expensive. And it's something that I eventually just want to move away from. And I just want to get into courses because I can reach a broader audience and I can have more of my free time. But right now, I really enjoy it. But with this, I'm including the coaching, the monthly coaching, in the course or in the program. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to go through the 12 different areas of your life that make up your life and need to be reprogrammed. Everything from your money, your career, your love life, pleasurable activities, I would say your mental, your emotional, your body, nutrition, all of those different things. And every month we have a different topic that I train you on, that I coach you on, as well as the community. So it's the course that you have access to for the entire year. It's the community that you have access to network and do business. And it's the coaching. And this all encompasses a huge university, just like I said, you go into the elite university, you have your classes, you have your sports, you have all these different things. That's what Energy Mastery School is. Some people liken it to, are you familiar with X-Men?
Yep.
Yeah, Professor X, Xavier.
Okay. I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. I'm
Yeah,
familiar with it.
in the School of Mutants, all the School of Mutants went to this particular academy, and that's where they learned how to use their superpowers, and they became the X-Men from there. That's essentially what Energy Mastery School is, calling all the ascended masters from all around the world to come and hone their skills so that they can accelerate their path to the next level of their success.
Very cool. So it's not only like a 21 day, it's like a 21-day kickstart, but then it evolves into a year-long
Yes. So you have a
experience.
year access, and the 21-day course is showing you every 21 days how to reprogram a specific category of your life, particularly 12 different categories, 12 months over the course of the year. That's how you go from 10 years to a year to like, hey, if you just wanted to focus on one category of focus, you can just reprogram that. And that could, kill two birds in one stone. And you could just be there. That's like the one that's really holding you back.
Yeah.
So you can literally do this, get that 10-year vision and experience that in 21 days with this program.
That's so fascinating. It sounds so cool. I love it. So who is your ideal client that would be coming into this experience?
Well, we have three different avatars. We have the aspiring entrepreneur, the person who still kind of in corporate, kind of has this like as a side gig, but doesn't have the confidence to really do this full time. I think we've all been there where we're like, should we do this? Should we work part-time? Should I, all the different things, and you just finally go for it. That's the first avatar. The second avatar is a solopreneur. This is the one woman, the one-man team who is just kind of pretty much doing it all, hiring contractors, the kind of stuff like that. But they don't really have the whole team to like really support a huge operation, but that's going to be their next step. They need to expand into that, but there's some limitations that's not allowing them to quickly move. And then the last one would be the super entrepreneur. And now this person has their team. They've expanded into their team, but they're still working in the business, not on the business. And they're not trusting really the team in allowing themselves to like move on to do other stuff because They're scared, like if they're not there, then the whole team is going to fall apart. So all these different 3 avatars are stuck, but they're stuck at different levels. So to answer your question, the person who I'm working with, my ideal person, is one, the person who knows that they're stuck mentally and wants to move to the next level. And then the person, the entrepreneur, the professional who doesn't know that they're stuck. They're like, I'm good. I got success. I just cleared 6 figures last year, or I just doubled my salary last year. And, I'm good. It's like, you're stuck too. Because if you're still reading about other people, if you're still, going to their conferences, if you're still watching their YouTubes instead of people doing that to you, then there's a gap. And there's a gap of why you haven't accelerated and you haven't moved very quickly into that level. And we can figure that out for you.
Very cool. And so all 3 avatars like coexist together, and they just kind of grow and expand synergistically, and it just is like this beautiful energetic dance, it sounds like.
Beautiful energetic dance, and they all have the same, and when being an entrepreneur, I think the main thing that you always have to ask yourself, especially coming from business school, is what problem are we trying to solve? And the problem that we're trying to solve is, how do we move people from stuck 2x conventional mindset? Some people understand that they're stuck. 90% of the people who come to Energy Mastery School have no clue they're stuck. They're just like, I just want to get to the next level. I want to get there quickly. It's been taking me a while. Let's do it. And I say, okay, great. And a lot of these people who are in business don't realize that the method that I use to get there is through personal development. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, in order to scale, if you want to make more revenue, you have to increase your level of self-worth. If you want to expand your business, you need to understand your purpose and your core values. And if you want to make your business, Teflon against any market instabilities or any market flexing, then you need to become anti-fragile. These are all personal development things that will have a direct knock-on effect or direct correlation to your business. And they're like, oh, so I get the best of both worlds. I'm like, yeah, welcome to Energy Mastery School.
Very cool. Very cool. I love it. So, let's talk about like exceptional growth over a period of a year, because I mean, that might sound like that's like no time, but for some that might feel like it's just gonna like that might be a little bit longer. Do you do like nervous system regulation for these people? Because it's easy to like have your spot here and you're happy, you don't realize that you're kind of stuck, but all of a sudden it's just like you're 10xing like that. What if your nervous system isn't able to hold the energy of what you're calling in? Do you support people with that nervous system regulation and nervous system support?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the emotional regulation that comes with it is, you remember how I told you that I study NLP and cognitive-based therapy. Now, these all encompass some type of regulation, either emotional or mental or visual regulation, that allows you to create and manifest and live the life that you want to live. Well, what I've done is I've combined both of them, CBT and NLP. And I combined both of them because I realized that when I was learning NLP and when I was learning cognitive-based therapy, none of them really focused on where I would say the main belief was belief. There was like visualization, there was sensory, the 5 different sensories, there was, regulating your emotions, different things. But when I looked at it, I was like, the belief is what actually needs to change. And the belief is what's going to create the thoughts. The thoughts is what's going to, I would say, push your nervous system either up or down, and it's going to either down regulate or it's going to up regulate and all those different things. And we need to figure this out at a core level, which is your beliefs level. So I created a technique, a formula called the BTFA reprogramming formula. And this helps people regulate. This helps people go from old self-image to new self-image, to be able to hold the frequency, or to be able to hold the new reality of what they're calling in. The old self-image doesn't allow you to do that, but the new self-image will. And I tell people all the time, when high performance and high productivity and people optimizing their level of growth, and are really people who are operating as the future version of themselves today. If you're making all of your decisions as the 10, 20-year future version of yourself today, then you're going to be able to hold the frequency of the future version of you today. And you're already bringing that in. That's just quantum physics. That's timeline jumping.
Yeah.
So that's bending reality. So you're able to bring that into the future, suck it in for today, and now you're learning how to hold the frequency. Well, how are you learning how to hold the frequency? Well, you're pretending how to act, how to think, how to feel. How does a person at that level of success, or the 20-year version of you, how do they smell? How are they dressing? What are they wearing? How much money are they making? You got to get into that role, and you're going to get into that role like a method actor or a method actress. And you're going to do that so well that eventually you're going to start to believe it, because your brain can't tell the difference between what's in your brain and visualized and what's real. Can't tell the difference between a tiger coming after you in real life and what it sees on the screen. So we can mimic that in your visualization, in your brain. Then that means that you'll start to manifest that in your physical life. And that is how we regulate the nervous system.
Love it. Holding the both and. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Well, so how can people like jump in? How can they sign up? How can they learn more?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Michael A. Blunt on Instagram, where I regularly share tips on how to reprogram your beliefs in order to optimize your life. We've also just opened up a limited number of free business audit calls. And this is for all three avatars, but it's really a free session with our business strategists. And these are free one-on-ones where we highlight the gaps in your business and how we can help you accelerate your path to success and to the next level of your success, whether that be in your career, whether that be attracting more wealth, a healthy partnership. All you need to do is pretty much visit the website at michaelablunt.com/21 days and schedule a time, and we'll do that for you for free.
Very cool. Love it. Can't wait to learn more. I'll definitely be checking it out for sure. So, well, I can't thank you enough, Michael, for being here with us today. Before we leave, I just have a question for you. So for those that might be feeling like quitting or giving up or throwing in the towel, what is a message of hope that you can give to them today?
It's the message of hope that I give to my students. Would it matter if you failed 100, 150, or 199 times if you knew on the 200th time that you were going to be wildly successful beyond your dreams? And I would say 110% of the time they say, well, no, it wouldn't matter at all. And I would say, well, stop playing a finite game. Play the infinite. The person who plays the finite game, there's winners and losers. And it's, hey, I got married, but I'm not staying married. Hey, I became successful, but I became a success, but I'm not successful, in my entire life. I made some money, but I'm not making money. That's finite. But an infinite game is someone who is continuing to stay down this path and is continuing to see success, continuing to stay married, continuing to be engaged, continue to have the business that they want. They didn't just create a business, a successful business. They have a successful business over a number of years. Play the infinite game, because when you play the infinite game, it doesn't matter if you won at 100, 150, or 199, because your time is coming. 200 is the magic marker, but most people don't know that 200 is their magic marker. So they stop right before it even happens. It's like, oh, just keep going. It's right there. It's right in front of you. So that's the advice that I would give to them. And I also wanted to gift you. My team and I have decided to gift you with access to Energy Mastery School for an entire year. If that's something that you're interested in.
Me?
Yes. Yeah. That's your,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart. That's amazing. Thank you. I'd be honored.
Yeah. As an appreciation for bringing me on your show, we would love to have you on. And, just get some free information and just, learn away and 10x your business.
Very cool. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. That is so generous of you, and I will definitely receive that. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for
Mhm.
having me on here, Megan.
Oh, I absolutely loved having you on, and definitely would love to have you back on. And I'll definitely share all the goods in the show notes for other people to join forces with you as well. So thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for dropping in with me today. If you loved this episode, I would be forever grateful if you rated and reviewed. And if you feel called to share it with your community on social media, please tag me so I can thank you personally. Until next time, I will see you on Dropped In.